Hello everyone, welcome back to another contest entry video. This one is for my good friend Robert over at Robert's on My Turntable. Robert's based up in Canada, one of the many Canadian fellas that I like to call a friend. He's right in the same neck of the woods as Larry Graves, Glenn Kellaway. Just one of the nicest guys in the YouTube world. He's always having a good time with his videos. And he takes his time with things. He just kind of rolls with whatever flow he wants to go with. And he's one of these guys you can't really peg what kind of music he likes. He obviously leans heavy toward the heavy stuff. He loves Deep Purple, things like Ghost, like Gentle Giant. But then he'll turn and he'll talk about the Beatles, or I'm happy I've been able to get him a little bit more into Bob Dylan. I've done a collaboration video with him and Chris Prophy on Johnny Cash. Rich Strickler and I have ranked the songs of Dark Side of the Moon with him. And I've also been on numerous live chats with Larry Graves and that group of miscreants. So Robert, I'm happy to know you. Robert and I talk outside of YouTube as well. So he's not just a guy that I comment with. We have a personal relationship outside of YouTube. And so I'm happy to say that I know Robert, and maybe one day I'll make it up into your neck of the woods. Well, Robert is edging closer and closer to getting to 1,000 subscribers, and he needs our help getting there. And Robert has a real easy contest that was conceived with the help of Craig over at A to Z Vinyl. So, howdy, Craig. And what Robert wants us to do is to show records that spell out the word thousand, 1,000. You get the picture. And he says, if your collection's smaller, you can spell out the word grand as well, grand, thousand. So I decided to go with artist, like you can use the album title, you can also go with the artist's name, and I decided to go with the artist's name. And I decided to pull CDs that I don't always show, because I could start with T, I would show, I don't know, Tom Petty, or D to show Bob Dylan. I didn't want to go in that direction. So I'm going to show a few records here, well, CDs that spell out 1,000. And again, let Robert know that you've made a video, subscribe to his channel, all that good stuff. I'll link the contest video below this one. So for T, we're going to go with the late, great Mr. Peter Tork of the Monkees. This is a 7A Records reissue of his album Stranger Things Have Happened. And to be quite honest, I've only listened to this album once. There's the original artwork. I don't remember it being crazy good, but I know he's got a couple of live songs on here. I think there's some contributions from Mike and Mickey as well from the Monkees. So anyway, that's not a record that I show much, because I never listened to it other than the one time. But it originally came out in 1994, and then 7A released it back in 2020. So Stranger Things Have Happened, Peter Tork, T for 1,000. Next, the letter H. This is Chris Hillman. Now, you all know Chris Hillman from the Byrds. He was also in the Flying Burrito Brothers. Just one of those great country rock artists that came out of the 60s, really struck it big in the 70s and 80s as well, with some solo work. But this is his most recent solo album. I can't believe it's been out for 5 years already. And this was the last big project that Tom Petty was working on before he died. Tom Petty produced this album, and Hillman actually does a cover of Wildflowers at the end. Now, I got to see Chris Hillman around this time, the next year, with Roger McGuinn and Marty Stewart and the Fabulous Superlatives, as they sang the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album in its entirety. And they did a Tom Petty tribute section, and Hillman did Wildflowers. So, really cool album. If you don't know it, check it out. It's called Biding My Time. Next, the letter O. I have shown this album before. This is Tim O'Brien, the album Red on Blonde. This is, I know Glenn Kellaway loves this album. This is a Dylan tribute album. So you have Tim O'Brien on here. doing songs like Senor, Tales of Yankee Power, which I actually like better than the Dylan version. Tombstone Blues, Farewell Angelina, Subterranean Homesick Blues, Man Gave Name to All the Animals, Maggie's Farm, Forever Young, several others. Really great bluegrass album. I highly, highly, highly recommend it if you can find one. Red on Blonde, Tim O'Brien for O. I didn't have many options. Actually, I only had one option, and that was U2. This is their one of their greatest hits collections, U2 18. I don't have many things by U2. I guess I could have shown Joshua Tree as well. Thank you, Rich Strickler, for this copy. But Irish band, rock band, new wave, punk. We all know U2. Don't need to say much more. So that was U. So S, I'm going to show the Statler Brothers. I talk about the Statler Brothers from time to time. Local Virginia boys, hail from the great Shenandoah Valley in Stanton, Virginia. It's about an hour and a half north of me. It's close to where I went to college. I got to interview Jimmy Fortune and Don Reed my sophomore year of college for a project. Very gracious host. I've even got to meet I've gotten to meet both of them in person as well. When I interviewed them, it was phone interviews, but I've also gotten my picture taken with both of them as well. And I was also fortunate to have met Harold Reed, Don's brother, the bass singer. I've met him on another occasion as well, and he sadly passed away, I believe, in 2020. So I have not met Phil there, but Statler Brothers, fantastic harmony, quartet, gospel, country. Great songs. Don wrote some great songs. Harold wrote great songs. Jimmy wrote great songs. And then their former tenor, Lou DeWitt, was also a great writer. And then they also pulled from the huge catalog of country and gospel music as well. So this is one of my favorites. This is their live concert in Salem, Virginia from 2002. My parents were actually at this concert, as well as several other family members, including my great-grandmother. So very cool that I know people that were at this show. So Statler Brothers for S. The letter A, I'm going to show Mr. Roy Acuff. This is a compilation of the Essential Roy Acuff from 1936 to 49. Roy Acuff, one of the great fiddle players of the original group from the Grand Ole Opry. One of his bigger songs, Great Speckled Bird, Precious Jewel, Night Train to Memphis, Wabash Cannonball, Black Mountain Rag, Tennessee Waltz, Steel Guitar Blues, Fireball Mail. Just one of the most lonesome voices ever in bluegrass and country music. And he's also on the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's Will the Circle Be Unbroken albums. So check out Roy Acuff, one of the best. And I believe one of his fiddles is now owned by Ketch Secor of Old Crow Medicine Show. All right, the letter N, Graham Nash. This is Nash's most recent effort. It's a double live album of him doing Songs for Beginners and Wild Tales in their entirety. I believe these were recorded in 2019, I believe. Let's see. I want to be sure on that. I believe they were 2019. Yeah, 2019. Graham Nash took to the road to perform his first two solo records. And he only did a few shows, and this is a compilation of the best of those shows. So, you have his top-notch band, and this came out just this year. So you have, stuff like Military Madness, Better Days, Simple Man, Chicago, Wild Tales, Prison Song is beautiful. So really pretty stuff, and produced by Graham and Shane Fontaine, as well as Todd Caldwell. Shane Fontaine plays with Graham on his solo acoustic shows, and he played with Crosby, Stills, and Nash in their last iteration. So, and I've gotten to see Graham with Crosby, Stills, and Nash and solo with Shane Fontaine. So I'm very fortunate to have seen him. And then lastly, the last letter. I know I've shown this album a couple of times. This is a group called The Devil Makes Three. They're kind of a punk bluegrass band, if that's the right word for it. Kind of a goth Americana, if you will. But this is a great album called Ruin and Redemption. And what it is half the album are songs that are kind of bleak about, getting drunk, doing drugs, blah, 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 living up life on Saturday night. And then Redemption is about, waking up Sunday morning and, trying to be forgiven of your sins. And it's all covers, so they do songs by Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, Willie Nelson, Christopherson, Hudson Whitaker, Townes Van Zandt, Phil Moore, Larry Sparks, and Ralph Stanley. Tom Waits, Charlie Monroe, Public Domain with Down in the Valley, and then Hank Williams finishes off the album. But you have some great players on here, like Jerry Douglas, Mickey Raphael from Willie Nelson's band, Chance McCoy from Old Crow Medicine Show. Let's see who else you have on here. Oh, there's somebody else I know that I'm missing. Emmylou Harris is on here. Jerry Rowe is all over this album on drums. Tim O'Brien, who I just mentioned, he's on one of these songs. Daryl Scott is also on here. And Dwayne Eddy makes an appearance on the last song. So very cool, very it's a top-notch group of players, and I love this album. It's from 2016, Redemption and Ruin, or Ruin and Redemption, either one. So there you go, everybody. I didn't want this video to go this long, but here we are. Robert, you're gonna get to 1,000. I think you've got a little more than a month to enter the contest. So please go over to Robert's channel, subscribe, comment on his video, make a video, subscribe. If you don't want to make a video, just get over there and do it. Let's get him up to 1,000. So anyway, that's it. I will see y'all on the next video. Until then, be good. Talk to y'all real soon.